Whose job is it to police that material? To help answer those questions, I'm joined now by Shadow Education Minister Julian Leeser. Julian, Meta says they're not there to police offensiveness. They're right, actually, aren't they, to not be interfering in people's free speech?
Well, James, free speech is important, but anti-Semitism is not free speech. Let me tell you a little bit about my personal history. My family's been in this country since 1841. My great-grandfather was an Anzac at Gallipoli and at the Charge of the Light Horse. My grandfather was on the Burma Railway and a prisoner of war in Changi. And yet almost every day on my Facebook, I'm called a traitor and a Mossad agent. And there's words around sexual violence and other things that I just can't repeat on your program. I'm a public figure and you cop some of this stuff, but this is the experience of Jewish Australians generally, and I think people are sick of it. And the social media companies do need to step up. They do need to do better in terms of taking some of this down.
Where's the line, do you think, between protecting free speech, which has enabled our country to be the great country it is, and at the same time allowing anti-Semitic abuse to run rampant? How do you delineate between those two things?
Well, I think that's one of the things that the Royal Commission will deal with, but it's also why it's really important to adopt definitions of anti-Semitism so people understand exactly what it is that we're dealing with. And I've been a long advocate of the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition, which says that legitimate criticism of the government of Israel is not anti-Semitism, but, holding Jews responsible for the actions of the government of Israel is anti-Semitism. But what we're seeing, particularly since Bondi, is a massive explosion in anti-Semitic hate online and particularly on social media platforms since December last year. And I think it's got worse, not better.
What did you make of Meta's reasoning that the danger in automatically just removing problematic posts without waiting for a complaint meant that posts which were not problematic, indeed some posts that were supportive of the Jewish community, were also deleted?
I don't think Meta's a particularly good actor in this regard. I think those excuses ring thin to me. I know that there have been plenty of Jewish communal organisations that have talked about the need to take some of these things down. I mean, they regularly change the words that are being used on these posts. I have things like Hitler should have finished the job, he should come back and finish the job, put on my Facebook page and other Meta apps. I have references to him as the painter. I have I should stop kissing the wall, referring to the Western Wall in Jerusalem. They've just got to keep up with this stuff. It's part of their job. It's part of their social licence to operate. And I think that would be a view that's widely held in the Jewish community in Australia and widely held by right-thinking Australians.
Just very quickly, because I want to ask you about Anthony Albanese and his attack on the coalition in a second, but just very quickly, you mentioned that the outpouring of anti-Semitism has gone up after the Bondi terror attack. I just got a comment. When you said that, that always shocks and stuns me, because you would have thought after what we saw at Bondi, everybody would have just gone, whoa, and taken a big step back. It must be incredibly disheartening, and that's an understatement, to see what's happened since then.
Well, it is, James, and right under the nose of the Royal Commission, people have been thumbing their nose at the Royal Commission, whether it was On Histoire, the Sydney University publication that was calling for us to celebrate the work of Hamas, whether it was the Sydney Council that had to be dragged kicking and screaming not to allow hateful things that call for the murder of Jewish Australians to be said at an event that was being held in some of their property. We just see this almost as a daily occurrence. But on social media, it has absolutely got worse, and exponentially so.
Just really quickly, Anthony Albanese has sharpened his attack on the right, using his speech at the New South Wales Labor conference yesterday to brand the Liberals, Nationals and One Nation the axis of grievance, Julian. That was the phrase he used. What did you think about that? And don't you think the real grievance is Australians are poorer, power bills are higher and Labor doesn't take any responsibility?
I couldn't agree more, James. Anthony Albanese is good at lying and lines, like focus group lines. That's all these are. It's because he's saying these things because he's lied to the Australian people about his taxes. He's lost complete control of the economy. I mean, Australians are so much worse off today than they were when he was first elected. Inflation has got completely out of control. And rather than addressing it by cutting spending and cutting red tape. The government just spends and spends and spends. And these taxes are taking a baseball bat to confidence in our economy. While Labor pats themselves on the back at their national conference and cheers as their taxes are passed, people in my electorate, hard-working Australians, are in tears at the thought that they've worked hard, they've saved, they've invested, they've done the right thing, and now Anthony Albanese is punishing them.
Just two very quick questions, then we're going to go to a break. Just fast ones. The Liberal National Coalition, are they a party of grievance, yes or no?
No, we're a party of government.
And One Nation, are they a party of grievance?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Julian Leeser, appreciate your time tonight. Thanks so much. All right, coming up after the break.